Shedeur Sanders isn't going to be the locked-in starter by week 1 and probably for the next decade, a lot of these Shedeur backers just lose their minds. How dare you? How dare you not say that he's going to beat out Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted 2 rounds ahead of him, or the 2 veterans they brought in. It reminds me in some ways of Tim Tebow, where people just lose their minds about Tim Tebow. There's no rational conversation about Tim Tebow. And it's the same way with Shedeur. Shedeur is an oddball case of a 5th-round pick who...
Breaking! Shedeur Sanders just crashed his own private workout and turned it into pure cinematic chaos. Part Super Bowl, part superhero origin story. Scouts didn't just watch, they witnessed a live event that felt more like destiny than practice. One scout literally dropped his stopwatch, another started spamming his GM in all caps, and Shedeur, calm, collected, launching rockets like it was just another casual Tuesday. What's in this man's DNA? A cocktail of rocket fuel and mixtape swagger. This wasn't a workout, it was a warning shot to the entire league. Picture this scene. A quiet elite venue, low-key setup, barely any noise, just Shedeur, a few NFL scouts, and a thick cloud of doubt hanging in the air. Everyone came in with clipboards full of skepticism and left with their jaws on the turf.
Opinion, I think that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in college football. If I was an NFL GM and I had a pick to where I needed a quarterback, he'd be the first quarterback taken in this year's draft. He should be, and so.
It was supposed to be a controlled evaluation, but it turned into a full-blown football sermon. Every throw looked like a message sent directly to the doubters. You forgot who I am. He didn't just throw footballs, he launched declarations, deep outs, tight lasers, post corners so sharp they could slice through steel. At one point, a rollout looked so clean it felt supernatural. Like he had ghosts chasing him and still dropped a dime with 1 foot in the air. Scouts were losing it, phones out, hearts racing, pretending to stay professional while internally screaming.
Accurate. Yes, he really understands not only offensive football, but he understands what you're doing as a defense, so he'll pick you apart that way. He processes quickly. Like, all those things to me are big-time attributes. And I just remember last year at this time, Bo Nix falling. People saying, hey, Bo Nix is going to be a 2nd rounder, and Bo Nix is not. By the way, that guy was one of the best quarterbacks in this rookie class last year. So I don't worry about what the evaluators say about Shedeur Sanders. I think the guy is.
This wasn't practice. It was an ambush, a career hijacking in real time. While other quarterbacks are busy perfecting their TikToks or tossing 5-yard curls to their old high school buddies, Shedeur showed up and rewrote the definition of preparation. NASA better check the radar because those throws had launch codes. Every rep was pure confidence, every spiral a statement. And by the time the final pass cut through the sky, everyone in that room knew the Shedeur Sanders era has officially begun. One scout tried to call his GM before the ball even hit the ground. Another just froze, staring at his dropped stopwatch like it had betrayed him in public. Even the receiver looked around like, wait, this is actually happening? Nobody needed to say a thing. The energy in that room said it all. It was shock, awe, and pure football disbelief colliding at once. But here's the wild part. There were no tricks, no showboating, no smoke or mirrors, just raw precision and football IQ so high it felt unfair. It wasn't flashy. It was terrifying. Within the first 10 throws, you could literally feel the shift. Curiosity turned into panic, and by then, every scout was questioning everything they thought they knew. And yeah, the arm's insane, no doubt. Shedeur's spiral is smoother than your favorite quarterback's girlfriend throwing shade on Instagram.
Is going to go up rather than everybody going down. I'll give you a person that's going to go up. Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur Sanders. Mark my words. He will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Week 1.
Week 1?
Week 1.
I'll take that back.
He will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And the guy, Gabriel, that they drafted in the 3rd round will be the backup. And that's going to be, it's not even close. That's how much he's going to do. And everybody's then going to turn around and say, how did this happen? And they're going to have to say maybe they didn't like the guy. But at the end of the day, his talent and what he's going to bring.
But that's just a small piece of the story. The footwork, surgical. The composure, unshakable. The vibe, straight CEO energy. walking into a meeting where he already owns the whole building. This wasn't about proving he belonged. He came to make every person there feel foolish for ever doubting him. And the context? Man, that's what really seals it. Remember, this is the same Shedeur who played behind an offensive line held together by duct tape, prayers, and broken promises. The same guy who still dropped monster stats while getting hit so much he could have started charging rent in the backfield. He didn't just survive, he thrived. He read defenses like open books while getting slammed like he owed the D-line a paycheck. Now give him protection, rhythm, and a clean pocket? Forget it. It's not fair anymore. He's not just showing he's good, he's showing the world how legendary he could have looked if his center wasn't snapping the ball like he was trying out for beach volleyball. What Shedeur pulled off in that workout wasn't luck. It was domination wrapped in calm confidence. This wasn't some fancy performance art or media stunt. It was straight up mastery. Every drop back, every laser throw screamed, "I've been built for this since birth, and now I'm just having fun with it." NFL scouts came in expecting a project quarterback, some kid they could mold slowly. Instead, they got a finished product, shrink-wrapped in swagger and armed with receipts. Every throw made their old scouting reports look like spoiled milk sitting in the sun. You could see it on their faces, panic, disbelief, and grudging respect all at once. This is what happens when preparation punches perception in the mouth and then stiff arms it into the dirt. But here's the wild part. Some people still think he's just coasting on his dad's name, like being Deion Sanders' son automatically hands you NFL success. Please, as if having a Hall of Fame dad magically downloads football IQ into your DNA.
Shedeur, I am the guy that's been pushing him to the greatness. I want to see Shedeur picked early. I want to see Shedeur picked as the first quarterback taken off the board. But Shedeur also does not want to be challenged. I said certain things that I'm just keeping it a buck and just say how I feel. That doesn't negate how I feel about him, his brother, his other brother, his sister, and his father.
Respectfully,
so
listen, I'm not refuting what you're saying. I'm trying to comprehend what you're saying. What do you mean he doesn't want to be challenged?
That got my attention.
Nobody learns how to read defenses, absorb blitzes, and drop 40-yard lasers into tight windows from a last name. That's not genetics, that's grind. Let's be real, that he's riding coattails talk. Lazy analysis. Shedeur doesn't have the Deion advantage. He's got the Deion microscope. Every throw, every press conference, every word out of his mouth gets picked apart like it's evidence in a courtroom. One off-target pass and the critics scream, "He's overrated!" One confident quote, and suddenly he's too cocky. Meanwhile, half the league can't even spell accountability. But yeah, he's the problem? Please. Shedeur has done more with less and made it look cleaner than most of these so-called franchise QBs who've been spoon-fed success since high school. While others got protected by five-star O-lines and playbooks designed like safety nets, Shedeur was out there making miracles behind chaos. And still looking like a highlight reel. That's not privilege, that's proof. And the league just got reminded who the real prodigy is. Shedeur was out there MacGyvering wins with duct tape, grit, and straight-up stubborn willpower. That kind of toughness doesn't fade. It shows up when the lights hit, and it exploded in this workout. When you've been through live fire, throwing in shorts feels like recess. And trust me, the scouts noticed. You could feel the shift in the air. That electric moment when disbelief turns into full-blown obsession. At first, it was quiet, just the usual scribbling in notebooks, a few polite nods, that fake calm everyone keeps before the storm, but then, chaos. Phones started buzzing, scouts texting GMs like they just spotted Bigfoot. Whispered questions floated through the room. He did what? And how did we miss this guy?
We are only here for Shedeur. We are only here for Shedeur. We do not like brown and orange. Nobody likes those colors. Nobody in the history of the world has ever said, you know what, I'm going to put on some brown and orange today. No. So all these new fans you got, all these jerseys selling, the jerseys are for Shedeur. It's just Shedeur. Y'all over there playing with numbers. He 12. DeAndre Carter got 2. Okay. Y'all playing around like we really like y'all.
The whole vibe flipped from evaluation to emergency meeting. Even the ones who came just to check a box were suddenly leaning forward, hats low, eyes locked in. You could practically hear the collective gulp when he ripped a sideline throw so hard it probably created a mini breeze in the facility. But here's the part that really sent chills down spines: his demeanor. No chest thumping, no flexing, no look at me energy. Just cold precision. Every motion looked like a man who already knew how this story ends, with his name being called early on draft night. He was calm, collected, and deadly accurate, the kind of player who doesn't need to talk loud because his game does all the screaming. That's the nightmare for NFL execs. Not the arm, not the athleticism, but the presence. It's one thing to spot talent. It's another thing entirely to feel a franchise forming in front of you. And here's where it gets spicy. This workout didn't just confirm he's a first rounder. It cracked the door open for something bigger. Some scouts walked out whispering the unthinkable. QB1? Yes, that level of talk. Above the media darlings, above the overhyped names with highlight reels cut like movie trailers but real tape that looks like bloopers. Because Shedeur doesn't just have swagger, he is swagger. Quiet leadership, lethal focus, and that kind of edge that doesn't shout, it commands. When he steps in the room, everyone listens, and when he throws, everyone watches. Because deep down, they all know they just saw the future. Now the mock draft mafia is in full panic mode. The same analysts who confidently dropped Shedeur into round 2 are suddenly hearing buzz that he's rising.
This quarterback room in the league right now, and that doesn't even include the injured Deshaun Watson. What was your evaluation of Shedeur Sanders, and how do you think he'll do there?
My evaluation was the most accurate quarterback I thought in this draft. When he sets his feet, when he's comfortable in the pocket, and he delivers the football, the ball goes where he wants it to go. And, this was a quarterback that was asked to have to win football games for his team. I don't think that can be overstated, is that, you go to a team, it's a really good team, and you become a complementary piece.
Which is basically code for, we messed up, but we're gonna act like we knew it all along. You can practically hear the keyboard smoking as they rewrite their rankings overnight. And guess what's even funnier? The quiet panic starting to ripple through other quarterback camps. Suddenly, those other pro days aren't about proving you belong. They're about trying to survive the comparison. He's about to win over the veterans in a week, the coaching staff in a month, and the city by mid-season. And it won't be because he's talking big. It's because he is the big talk. He's got a chip on his shoulder, a folder of receipts in the glove box, and the mindset of a man on a mission. This isn't some feel-good underdog story about exceeding expectations. It's a football takeover, a public service announcement that says, I'm not waiting for respect. I'm taking it. Shedeur's out here snatching credibility like a cornerback, jumping a lazy route, quick, clean, and ruthless.
Is that Shedeur Sanders is a bad brother. This brother's something special, okay? His poise in the pocket, his athleticism, his willingness to stand in there amongst the giants and take hits, take punishment. Got to give credit where credit is due. He only got sacked once, but he was running for his life half the damn time he was out there. But his ability to continue to make plays under duress, I believe, cements him as a surefire first-round pick and one of the top 2 quarterbacks that's going to go.
And let's not forget, all of this came from one private workout, a handful of drills, a few routes, a couple throws, and now the entire scouting world is losing sleep. He hasn't even played his final collegiate down or stepped into the draft spotlight yet. If this was just the appetizer, the main course might burn down half the league's old scouting reports. So let's stop pretending this is up for debate. Could Shedeur Sanders actually be QB1 material? Forget the hype trains and media darlings who already have gold jackets fitted because they sneezed during the combine. Let's talk real football. Because while those guys are throwing 75-yard bombs into triple coverage and doing TikTok dances to celebrate incompletions, Shedeur's out here studying the field like a tactician. He's making grown man reads, diagnosing blitzes in real time, and turning chaos into clean first downs. That's the difference. While others chase clout, Shedeur chases precision. And that's exactly why the league isn't just watching anymore. They're worried. He's not flashy. He's frighteningly efficient.
There's been history there, and I've always challenged Shedeur publicly and to him in ways that, like, bro, I want to see the best version of Shedeur. Shedeur has always played in a very convenient situation.
Okay.
I've said that numerous times. So I don't have no beef.
Okay,
I don't
well,
have no
I'm
quarrel.
not, but we're not asking you the question accusing you of having a beef. I'm saying from a football analysis perspective, when you say somebody doesn't want to be challenged, I guess what I'm looking at is, okay, you play for your dad, but just because you play for your dad, that don't mean you want to be challenged. That doesn't mean you don't want to be challenged. That means that's the situation that you were in.
While other quarterbacks live for highlight reels, Shedeur is the highlight reel. He's a walking win now system, built for Sundays and wired like a machine that doesn't know how to panic. Every time he steps onto the field, it's not for show. It's business. No nervous eyes, no hesitation, just pure ice in his veins and laser focus in his stare. This man spent a whole season behind a Colorado offensive line that folded faster than cheap lawn chairs, and he still didn't break. He got hit, got up, and kept delivering like a veteran quarterback who's been doing this for a decade. No whining, no finger pointing, no sideline drama, just pure grit, endless film sessions, and that relentless drive that separates stars from survivors. You want overlooked greatness? Cue up the Jalen Hurts comparison. Remember when analysts called Hurts a great leader, but not an NFL passer? Now he's out here wearing an NFC championship ring and running Philly like a Wall Street CEO in cleats.
The coolest thing ever, bruh, that the Cleveland Browns is recording this stuff and taking advantage of them having Shedeur. Shedeur Sanders is arguably the number one selling jersey in the entire league. His name ringing bells all across the country, and they're doing everything they need to do to make sure he's relevant within their organization, bro. It's crazy. But there is more footage of this youth camp, man, that I'm finna show.
Or look at Dak Prescott, a mid-round pick who was labeled too boring, too calm, until he took over Dallas and made the star on his helmet look like destiny. Shedeur belongs in that exact conversation. The same quiet killers who weren't supposed to make it, but flipped the whole script anyway. The analysts keep asking who has the highest ceiling. Meanwhile, Shedeur is already standing on the roof, waving down NFL GMs like, hey, the future's up here. That's not hype. That's reality catching up to talent. He's not here to be the loudest in the room. He's here to be the one still standing when the noise fades. And that's why every scout in the building just circled his name twice. Y'all coming or what? Shedeur's not waiting for validation. He is the validation. The only real question now is whether the league can catch up. Because this wasn't just a workout, it was a declaration. He didn't show up to impress anyone. He came to warn them. This is what the next generation of quarterbacks looks like. Calm under pressure, deadly accurate, mentally sharper than half the coordinators out there, and built from the ground up to lead.
Named the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns after the conclusion of minicamp. And let me show you guys the stats of the 4 quarterbacks from the Browns during minicamp. Because obviously this job was not easy to get due to the fact that he was going against 3 legit quarterbacks to get this starting job. Kenny Pickett, who they just signed, Joe Flacco, the Hall of Famer, and then the guy that they selected in the draft before him in Dylan Gabriel. But Shedeur Sanders went off in minicamp, and let me show you guys the stats, which is the reason why he is being named.
He didn't flash potential, he delivered certainty. The NFL saw it. Scouts saw it. You saw it. That poise wasn't luck, it was legacy in motion. And now that the dust has settled, every GM who thought they could wait another round is suddenly calling emergency meetings. Because if teams were sleeping before, they're wide awake now. Shedeur Sanders isn't chasing the spotlight. He is the spotlight. He's the storm forming on every draft board, the glitch in every GM's plan, the reason entire scouting departments are sweating bullets. This man isn't a prospect. He's a problem. The kind you don't solve, you just hope to survive. So here's your mic drop moment. If your team passes on Shedeur Sanders, go ahead and pencil in regret next to that draft grade, because this isn't a gamble, it's a gift. While others are busy doubting him, he's already rewriting the entire narrative. And if you still don't see it, you might want to get your eyes checked or maybe call a therapist. Because once the season starts and those draft boards start flipping faster than pancakes on a caffeine high, remember, you heard the warning here first. Shedeur Sanders isn't rising, he's arriving, and the rest of the league better start catching up before it's too late. If you made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Because, trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. See you on the next one.